Good evening, everybody. This is Mr. Abdul Wahab Jamal saluting all of you. Welcome to a new English session. Today we are going to deal with 3.2, Predicting the Story, Unit 3, Lesson 2. And this is English as First Language, Lower Secondary Cambridge Checkpoint. Lower Secondary Cambridge Checkpoint. In today's session, we are going to explore how to plan ideas in order to develop a fiction story, how to use features of informal language in direct speech, and how to write about a specific place using a range of nouns. Uh, I need to remind you that the story is Film Boy, and today we are going to deal with Extract 2. Extract 2 from Film Boy, a story written by yes, Alexander McCall Smith. We dealt with Extract 1, if you remember. We gave an idea about the character of Preem, the main character, a boy who is working in the sweet stall after the school in order to make living or to have some money, so he will save for the ticket of the film or of the cinema film. He is a cinema lover. And we know about the Mr. Rahana, we know about the Rasi, Rasi Pilawala, that's the actor who is very fond or who is Preem is very fond with. And we have an idea about the character of a Preem through a dialogue between him and his friend. We understood that Preem is generous, he's kind, he's loyal, he is a good person in total, and we understand something about the character of Rasi, if you remember. Inside the story or inside his films, he is courageous, he is tall, he is strong, he has no fear. Even police uh, cooperate or depend on him in catching some criminals, if you remember. Now we are going to deal with Extract 2, Lesson 2. But before starting, let's get started with the following. In order to predict from the noun or from the title, which is predicting the story, to predict is to anticipate. To predict is to, let's say, guess what's the story is talking about or how the story will be continuing. So to predict a story, it means to think about what might happen next in the story based on some clues you have or you had before. In many stories, there are hints about the character's desires, the character's actions, and the setting, which can help us to understand or to guess what will happen next. The beauty of fiction is not revealing everything to the reader. The beauty in fiction is to attract the reader, to engage the reader, to grab the attention of the reader by reading more. How? By hiding some information or by hiding some events about the character and let the reader guess or predict. It is a type of foreshadow, if you wish to say. That will happen a type of interest in the story, and we will read more in order to understand or to know what will happen later. While informal language inside a dialogue is very important in writing the story, usually you can narrate in formal or semi-formal language. But when you are talking or when you let the characters talk with each other, you have to use informal language. And the informal language is very important inside the story because it will try to reflect a true idea, a true image about the scene. Because usually people talk with each other in a friendly or a chatty language, in informal language. So you must write in an informal language between the characters. dialogues are written in informal language. So when characters speak in a story, they usually use the way or they talk, okay? So the conversation sounds real in the story, natural inside the story. In informal language, we often use contraction. Instead of saying I am, it's I'm, okay? And we have fillers, which are the spoken words like well, okay, you know. So these words, they are fillers, if you wish to say. Sometimes they are important to create a reality uh, into the story or into the dialogue, and it is important as well to be incomplete. They are incomplete sentences, fillers, those fillers. Now, of course, nouns are very important, and we are using nouns to name things, to name people, to name places, to name ideas. Writers use nouns to help describe what is happening in a scene. Writers also use adjectives to give more detail about the nouns. I have four types of nouns: the proper, the concrete, the abstract, and we have something called adjective noun combination. Okay? Proper nouns, they are specifically names of people, places, and usually we capitalize them all the time. Rasi, Paliwala, Preem. I have to capitalize the first letter. Cairo, Egypt, London, Britain. All of these are capitalized. We have concrete nouns, common nouns, okay? Things you can touch, you can see, like car, fudge, bridge, anything you can touch, it's tangible for you. Abstract nouns, they are ideas or feelings, emotions, things you cannot touch, but you can think of, like love, freedom, courage. When we have adjective noun combination, you are using an adjective and a noun in order to reflect or to connotate something. There are descriptions like mango flavored fudge, mango flavored fudge, large cars. Okay, these are combination of adjective noun phrases, if you can say, and they are uh, very important or particularly important in describing or talking about something specific. We have the common nouns, of course. They are like proper, but you don't capitalize the first letter. Any name, any noun. Okay, sorry, any noun, any word. Table, chair, room, school, and so on. So that's a prior knowledge or some key concepts to understand before we start. And if you want, for example, to take this sentence, Rasi was always the hero. Do you think the word hero means uh, celebrity? Do you think the word hero means brave? Do you think the word hero means courageous? Do you think the word hero is positive or negative? Now, when you use the word hero, usually the word is positive. And when I will say Rasi is a hero, that suggests that Rasi is admired and is seen as someone who always does the right thing. Hero, savior. So he is like a hero in a movie. But the question now, do we think we have difference between hero and celebrity? I think we have very big differences, or we have very big difference between hero and celebrity, because sometimes you might have hero, but this hero is not famous. And sometimes you have lots of celebrities who are not heroes. A hero is someone who is admired for their bravery, courage, or good deeds. In general, a hero is positive, while celebrity is not necessarily a positive character. A celebrity can be positive or negative. A celebrity is someone who is famous, yes, everybody know him. or knows him. However, because of his job, like an actor, a singer, an athlete, he is very well known. But it might not mean that he is good. He is not brave. He might not be courage. Maybe he is or he has bad deeds. So they may or may not be admired for their actions or characters. They might be popular, but they are not lovable. Famous, but nobody likes them. Now, if I want to start with predicting the story to cover the objective number one, without reading extract one, can you anticipate or predict what will happen? What do you think might happen next in the story? Because as you remember, if you remember, we stopped where? Here. There was no mistake. That was Rasi. He was a tall man with broad shoulders and teeth that glinted like pinpoints of light when he smiled. His famous voice was deep, almost a growl when he was angry, but in the middle of a fight it could sound more like a shriek. I'm talking about the character. And remember that uh, Reem is very fond with Rasi, and he is working in a stall suite where in the middle of the street. So what might happen? What might happen if I will ask you? Some people might say, for example, that Reem uh, is excited to meet Rasi, but he might be nervous as well. Now, what about Rasi? Do you think Rasi is a role model and a hero in the real life, like a Reem is thinking? Or maybe it's only a dream, or only a false image, a fake character, because he is an actor. So that's only in where? In movies, in film, not in the real life. So Preem might be disappointed because Rasi may not live up to his expectation. That what? That if we have a negative expectation or prediction, you could be rude, Rasi. Or maybe Preem realizes that celebrities are not always as they seem. He is celebrity, but he is not a hero. That's the ugly scenario, the negative scenario. While the positive scenario, the bright image, he is hero and he is celebrity. Let's go and see. Okay?
Extract 2. This is how it happened. Preem had gone to Mr. Rana's stall at his usual time. Business was a bit quiet that day, Mr. Rana had said, and it would not have surprised Preem if he sold no sweetmeats at all. In fact, Preem might well have dozed off in the heat had a large car not suddenly stopped in the street outside the stall, and an unmistakable figure stepped out. It was Rasi Paliwala. "Which of these sweets do you recommend?" the famous voice had asked. "They're all very fresh, sir," Preem said. His voice sounded shaky, and he hoped that Rasi would not laugh. "I'm sure they are," Rasi replied pleasantly. "But which taste best?" Preem pointed out a tray of mango-flavored fudge. "Many people like that one, Mr. Paliwala." Rasi looked up. "You go to the films?" he asked. "Oh, yes, sir. Preem said. I go every week. Rossi nodded. Good, he said simply. Now, I'll take 10 pieces of that mango fudge. Preem took the coins which Rossi offered him and handed over the sweet. Rossi smiled again and then, without saying goodbye, dashed back across the road to the waiting car. The driver pulled out into the road, changed gear, and sped off. Preem looked at the coins in his hand.